It's Yvette St.Amant here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to embellish a vintage art journal. And if you watch my previous video, I showed you how to make this really cute vintage book. We constructed the book, we just added pages, and there was absolutely no embellishment. So we're going to do that today. If you haven't watched the video, you can go back to see how you can construct the book. And today we're just having a ton of fun embellishing and working up the layers so that we have, you know, a completed little art journal. And you're not going to get it all done in one day, but I'm here to just give you a few techniques on how to make your pages a little more unique and how to fit that style so that you've got something really creative going on here. So I just want to show you some of the things that I'm going to be working with. I'm going to tilt the camera down so you can take a look at all the little goodies I have. And here's my journal. Some of the things that we're going to be using today, and I know you might not have all of this, so you've just got to use your imagination, look around at what you've got in your house and your little junk drawers and all that kind of stuff and pull things out. But one of the nice things, if you don't have, I'm going to show you some paper products like book pages are great for this kind of thing, especially the vintage look. And if you don't have any books that you want to tear up, if you haven't made it out to, you know, Goodwill, or, you know, grab those little books that are $1 at the dollar store, you can actually go online and just print or put this on your printer and print a page of this text, because all you need is the text. And another nice thing that I like to use is music sheets. If you've got some lying around, you don't want to ruin them, just go ahead and photocopy them. These are great for some of the pages. Another really neat idea for getting embellishments, unique embellishments, is just finding images online, little, you know, birds, flowers, whatever it is that you're you know, working on, if it's figures, whatever, and print a black and white. I'm going to be using this one, and you just cut them out. I'm going to show you how we're going to soup that up to make a really interesting thing. In the scrapbook pages that I'm using, there was this really cute piece of paper with all these neat little things, and I just cut some out. They remind me of stamps. Go ahead, do that. It doesn't even matter if some of them are cut off, because this is how we're going to start bringing things out to the edges. So I've got some here that I've already antiqued that I cut out, but as you can see, you know, they're all different. Some are cut off because I like to do it that way. You want to bring, you know, your work to the edges. Okay, one of my guilty pleasures, and I knew I was saving these for a reason. So when I shop, I end up pulling out all these nice little tags. It comes off clothing, it comes off home decor items, and I keep them because, you know, for some reason I knew I was going to use these at some point. But they make amazing little tags in your art journal. So we're going to use those today, and even like generic ones. I've got a bunch of these tangerine ones if you don't want to actually use that. Like, look at this tag. It's got a little ribbon on it already. We can literally cover that up. So hang on to those. These are all just kind of repurposed things that you don't have to purchase. I've got some pearls, some feathers. I've got little paper flowers. I dug up these. I've got these in my little junk drawer too. So whatever you've got, and then this really cool ribbon, because when I think vintage, it's, you know, lace, floral, just aged, you know, photos, things like that. So we'll do a couple techniques to get there. And then now let's get started. I've also got some inks. I've got some distressed inks here. I've got Dusty Concord, Faded Jean, Vintage Photo. You don't have to use what I'm using. I also got some black ink here, and some of my homemade stamps. and even the store-bought one. So not everything has to completely be from scratch. I've got some glue. This is Fabric Fusion because I am using ribbon. It's just, you know, a better way of having it stick to your paper. I've also got a glue stick, some scissors, a corner cutter, and washi tapes, all different kinds. So let's get started. I'm going to show you a couple things. This is my video take 2 because I started recording it and for some reason the picture got really fuzzy and I couldn't get it out. So I did start one little technique here. So I'm going to have to start from scratch. I'll use another one. I'm just going to grab a little embellishment that, you know, is already cut. You've got a little picture on it, but you just want to make it a little more interesting. So the first thing we're going to do, and I think with this one, I'm going to use some text paper, and I'm literally just going to rip a piece off. And I want to make a little bit of an angle because I'm going to have it just kind of on the corner like so. So grab a little scrap piece of text, get your cutout, and we're going to antique this a bit. So we're going to do the corners. And on this one, I cut one of the corners with my corner cutter just to make it a little more interesting. I think on this one, I'll leave it because I don't want everyone that I do the same. So I'm just going around the corners. Now you can do it in the bottom corner, you can do it along the side, you can do it up the top, you know, whatever floats your boat. I'm just going to play with it, and you just want to wrap it around. It doesn't matter if the text is going up the side or not. Okay, just so I can see where you can cut some of this corner off so I can tape it in the back. All right, so I think I'm going to do it in this bottom corner, and I'm just going to do a little more aging around this top. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. Oh, before we do that, let's age this up a bit because I don't want to glue it on and then age it because then it's going to rub off on the under photo. And what we want is just kind of this edge to pop out. So we'll go ahead and age that up first. And I like to kind of work off the paper and go towards it so that I get that ripped area nice and dark. And then what I'll do is I'll finish aging it up once I have it glued onto the paper so I can get those corners really nice. So let's get some glue on this. And we're just going to glue it down. And then we can go ahead and finish aging up the corner. How cute is that? Just a neat little embellishment that we're going to put in our book. Now, these little tags, I've got some of these kind of craft paper tags. And this one's neat. It's called Botanicals for Your Life and Home, which I thought would go really nice in my vintage tea rose journal because it's all about flowers. And I'm just going to age it up a bit. And on this one, I'm just going to kind of start tearing. I might have to just put a little nick in it because it is pretty tough. But I want to rip some pieces off it so it looks more old and weathered. Like it's been chewed up. Ooh, this is tough paper. Okay. Maybe a little bit up in this corner. Add a little more distress. And see that? How we just made a simple little tag into something a little more interesting. And then what I'm going to do, and trust me, none of this is planned out, you just got to play around, is I'm going to stick a little flower on top of the tree. I'm going to grab one of my little brads here. This is some tough paper. I'm going to have to poke a little hole. I'll use my awl. Okay, there we go. Okay, and I've just turned this into a new little embellishment. Okay, so this is one of the photocopies that I did on plain white paper. And what I'm going to do is just age this up so it fits my journal a little better. And I'm going to go in, I'm going to get a little bit of blue distressed ink just to get, you know, a little bit of color in here. Uh-oh, I should have did this because I got just a little too much on there. Which is okay. I'm cool with how it's looking because it's looking really aged and old. Okay. And I'm just going to use some of these to start working in my journal. So let's tilt that a bit better so you can see. So I've got some pages that have pretty paper on one side and the other side is a little more plain, and then pages that are just completely plain. So I'm gonna show you how to do something on each side, and I know I pre-cut a couple papers here. Okay, so let's start with this side because we've got a little bit something for building up, and then where we've got a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start by adding some papers, and you know, we want to get layering and overlapping. So what I like to do is kind of lay things on top so I can see how it builds up. I have these little cards. You can cut them. You could cut them straight across, or what I like to do is just, you know, cut around some of the neat little pieces that pop out. And this helps to get some dimension. So I think what I'm going to do here, I like to do some tearing too, because I do have that neat little ribbon over here that, or the musical notes that I do want to be showing a bit. Don't have to have it showing everywhere, but we're just gonna, you know, kind of messy it up. And then I've got a little bit of white space here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some text. And I do like to have my text kind of going in different directions. So I'll have that glued down. And you don't have to rip everything. You can cut things if you know you prefer to have it cleaner. I just find it really adds more dimension. I've got some colored paper here, some scrap papers. This one has some bird. I think I'll use a little bit of color here. And I'm just going to make a mark where I need to trim it. And then I'm going to take one of the little embellishments I made, which I think will be this one, to put up in the corner. So I like to just, yeah, like I said, layer stuff up, see, you know, how it works on your paper. And then once you have it the way you like it, you can start gluing stuff down. But what I like to do first is just, again, add little vintage touching with the parts that I ripped. It doesn't have to be everything, but the ones that I kind of want standing out, I just add a little vintage touch to it, because I do want it to look old. A little bit on my text. And then I'll kind of start gluing stuff down as I go. Where I know, like especially over here in the corner, this is a background piece. So I don't need to fuss too much with it. Just make sure everything's covered. I know this is going to cover everything here. So I'm going to glue that down. Use your bone folder to really make sure, you know, it's glued down well. I want some more text. Let's grab another piece of paper. Going down the side. So what I'll tend to do is kind of glue the whole thing down, and then I can trim the sides after when it's going off the paper if I want it like a straight edge. And you know, don't be afraid to crinkle your papers too. If you crinkle it and then do distressing, it'll pick up, it'll get the ink laid down where you crinkled, so it adds a nice little look too. Ages it. Adds texture. And then I'm just going to glue it right onto here. Get some glue along the back. Folder. And then what you can do after is just trim it off. You can use your trimmer too. I'm just using scissors because I still have glue on it, and I do not want the glue getting on my trimmer. It's so funny when I start working. I know my voice gets lower. That's because I'm concentrating. Okay, and then look how neat that's getting. It's just starting to build up. So I want this here. Now I did want this underneath, so hopefully it's not glued down right away. Pull it up a bit. And you know, through these little mistakes, you start seeing some neat effects. Like I pulled up the paper and look how neat that looks with it just like rustic and old looking there. So then I can try that technique on another page, which I'm going to do because I really like how that turned out. Okay. And then at this point, you can go do your distressing, you know, around the edges if you want. And then, you know, get your little embellishments. I like how this looks. I like these little strings hanging down. I just leave them. And then I'll glue these on. And you can do as little or much as you want. And sometimes I like to just leave some empty spaces because I'll go back after and I'll, you know, write things. Like I know that I've got space here, I can write. And you can always add on it. I think what I'm going to do is even put this little, let's see. I'm working upside down, which is great for you guys, but let me just check out the composition here. Leave that for now because I'll come back and work on it. So I'm going to leave that side for now. What I'm going to do is make a little pocket over here for this side. And I did cut this paper earlier, but I didn't realize it was the same as that. So I'm just going to change it up. I'm going to use this music note paper, this sheet music to put here. I'm going to use that as part of my pocket. And again, I'm just using the side because it doesn't matter if the music's on the side. I like to have things in different directions. Now, you can make the depth of your pocket how, high or low as you want. This one, I just happen to have a scrap piece of paper and I'm just going to use it. So I showed you in the last video how to make the pieces for your pocket. Just cut a piece of paper, whatever width that you want. I rounded the corners. You really don't have to. And then a piece going atop, all you have to do is lay it across the top. You're going to fold one side over. And let's cut this. Doesn't need to be that much. And fold the other side over. Okay, and then you're just going to glue the pieces together. So start by putting a little bit of glue at the bottom of the pretty side of the paper. And then you're going to do each edge here that folds over. And then you just lay this flat and fold it over. And then you have a cute little pocket. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up taking one of my little stamps because it is all about building up. I have this orchid stamp, and I'm going to just put that probably on the side like so. So what color? I'm going to use some purple. And I'll just put a little bit, I don't even know if this is going to show up. Put a little bit of green on the stalk there. Okay, so I've got my ink on it. And then I'm just going to press down. Okay, I've got my stamp on there. Just a way of adding a little more depth. Once that's dry, I can go ahead and age it if I want, or I can just put it in. I think I'll just do a little bit on the corner and leave the other side where I stamped it. Okay. And then I'm going to add in the inside a little feather. How cute is that? That I can just stick into my journal. So I'll have that on there, and I still want to add some more texture and depth. So where is my... I'll add a little bit of text up here in the corner. Oh, the other one's upside down, so I don't want both upside down. Okay, I'll distress it just a bit. I have a little bit of text here. I'll have that over top. And I think what I'm going to do is add a little bit of lace over here to just strip down the center. So I'm just kind of working with my composition. I like the little jagged edge, so I'll make it a little shorter. Okay, and then this is just how you build up some texture. Okay, So let's start gluing some stuff down. Let's see, so got that there, put this there. I think what I can do is maybe do a stamp going up the side in black. So let's do that. Let's see how that turns out. Just to add another visual underneath. Okay, that's pretty. Okay, and I like the way this is turning out, so I'm going to glue down my pocket. Take this out for a sec so I can get this nice and flat. Stick the feather back in. The nice thing about these pockets is, you know, whatever you put inside doesn't need to be permanent. So you can really play around to see what you like and what's working. I think I'll save that for something else. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue the fabric down. I'm just going to put a little bit down on the paper first, and then we'll lay our little ribbon on top. Our lace ribbon. How pretty is that? I love this fabric fusion. This stuff is amazing. You can glue fabric to fabric, paper to fabric. So there is my first page of my vintage art journal. I've left little spaces where I can write. I can always add, you know, little tags on top too with some text when I'm ready, because I love the fact that you want to build up on top of, you know, things. So what I'm going to do here, actually, just so you can see and, you know, not to be afraid, because I know some you don't want to try things or you're afraid to, but what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to tack this on with a little piece of washi tape. And the washi tape, you know, if you don't like it, whoops, dirty finger, just add a little vintage, then you've got a little component that is not permanent. If you come back and you decide you don't like it, you just take it off. It doesn't, you know, tear or anything like that. So that's a really neat way. And then you've got these cute little, you know, pieces within your journal too. So those are a couple of techniques in how to, you know, do your little vintage journal, some little ideas. And I'm going to just cut this video now, and I'm going to do another video. So if you want to come and join me and see how I do like a complete blank page, then you can join me in my next video. But otherwise, if you've kind of got like, you know, some ideas and some techniques down now, which you know you can incorporate, and this is good, then go ahead, create your journals, and then come over and share them with me. Okay, you check out my Facebook group called Collaborating Through Art. I'm also on Facebook at Yvette St.Amant Fine Art, so you can come over and follow me. You'll get updates of my videos and art projects, and don't forget to subscribe, because if you subscribe, you'll get notifications every time I upload a new video, and that's happening weekly. So thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed creating a little vintage art journal with me, and I will see you soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.